Greetings to everybody coming in. Hi, Nina. Hi, beautiful. Guys, let me know if my music in the background is too loud. Okay. Hi, Grace. Hi, my love. Hi, D-Ron Bay. Islam. I hope everybody is feeling okay. And I hope that you guys have been having a wonderful, wonderful just day. Today's energy has just been really magical. Today is definitely a portal day, or I would say, with it being in this 11 energy. And we're shifting into the new moon on tomorrow. This new moon is in Capricorn. Um, and so I think that this message and the timing that Shirley Chisholm has decided to come in has just been, I think, timely. And so I want you guys to bear with me. This whole experience of having the presence and the energy of Shirley Chisholm coming through yesterday has really been amazing. And so some of you may come in and maybe some of you will miss this live, and that's okay. I'm going to leave it up for a while on my page because I believe that the message that Miss Shirley Chisholm came to bring is powerful, and I think that it is profound, and it's definitely a message of atonement. And some people this live may rub the wrong way. That's not necessarily my concern. I come to deliver a message from our ancestor, Shirley Chisholm. She was at the beginning, of a lot of what we are engrossed in today, especially as it relates to melanated people across this land. And I think it's really fitting that she decided and chose to come through during the time of watching this collapse. The ancestors, I think, have been coming through very, 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 very powerful. And what's so interesting is that Shirley Chisholm, for those of you who are just joining us, the conversation that I'm going to be having today is delivering a message that Shirley Chisholm came to me in my awakened rest with. And for the last couple days, I have been picking this dream apart and dissecting it, and taking away the messages that Shirley Chisholm came to bring. And so I think that it is a very synchronistic time for her energies to be coming through right now. And what's very interesting is that the song that I played right before this live, I've been playing it for like the last couple hours or so. And I looked at the cover, but I never really paid attention to the cover. But even as I look at the cover, I see a melanated being with his head wrapped. And Spirit has been dealing with me with wrapping the head. And the reason why Moors wrap their heads spiritually. Our hair really is our antennas, and I don't know why I feel so emotional. The message of forgiveness is definitely present today. Forgiveness of our ancestors and really beginning to assess a lot of the decisions and the choices that they made on behalf of, for a lot of them thinking that they were doing what was right. You know, a lot of our ancestors had to make choices. Many of them really having the intention of wanting to do the right things. You know, and wanting to really believe that this system could provide freedom for us as a people. And today we're seeing a lot of the consequences of those decisions today. And we watched the generations of us collapse under a regime that we just wanted to integrate into equally. And now we're literally sitting during a time and in a time where we're watching these systems collapse around us. They're shattering, and there's not much that anybody can do to save them or to save this regime at this point. And we're going to watch a lot of destruction around us, guys. But I want you to know the importance of tapping in is going to be your protection through this. Because our ancestors are here, they are speaking to us, and they are trying to convey messages. They're trying to tell us where to go and when to go, how to move, how to operate, especially as we move forward and, you know, moving into the 2021st year. You know, we're already watching the collapse of the world around us, and our ancestor, especially the ancestor Shirley Chisholm, came through to tell us that we got it wrong. That we got it wrong. And so I'll start with my dream. Yesterday, and my dreams have been really, really like potent and really, really heavy. And many of you may also be experiencing heightened in your abilities or in your dreams or in your intuition, you know, in your telepathy. You know, if you guys just go out and just do research, you guys will find a host of information on the gifts that they show you on television and in their television shows. You know, we aren't just watching entertainment. Like, we aren't just watching fictional things on this television. You know, we're watching the visions of other people because we don't have a clear one. And a lot of that is because it was taken away from us and stripped away from us a very long time ago. You know, a lot of it, you know, not by choice. And for many of us, many of our ancestors that have passed, and many of the beings that still walk this planet today, they are fully aware of how they are moving on this plane of existence. They are fully aware that they are sacrificing and willing to sacrifice people to keep in place a regime that gives them some sense of power when it's all falsehood, no matter how you look at it, and it's always been that. And so my dream yesterday, it was very interesting. I was in the dream, and I remember being at a restaurant, and it was 2 different rooms. And in one of the rooms, there was a long dinner table. And at that dinner table, it was my family. You know, some members of my family. And then in walks this white woman. And, you know, guys, take color out of your mind and all that extra stuff. And walks this white woman, and she has on this really big, like, coat, and it was white, almost like this. And the coat was really, like, thick, and it, like, came up like around, almost like around her neck. And so she was cloaked, almost like if I take my scarf and I'm like this. And so imagine that this is a white coat that I'm wearing, okay? And so she comes in, and I end up at a table sitting down talking and speaking with her. And so we're having conversations about my life, and she's asking me about myself, and all that good stuff. And what was very interesting was in the dream, when I woke up, I realized that the white woman who presented in the dream was Ellen's first girlfriend, Ann Hesh, I think that's her name. That's who the woman was in the dream, Ann Hesh, the white woman that came into the restaurant. So anyway, I'm sitting down, and I didn't know that this was Ann Hesh until I woke up and I was sent into research. And then I discovered who Ann Hesh was. But in the dream, her name wasn't Ann Hesh. It was just her, the vessel, the body of her. And so we sat down and we were speaking. And like I said, she was asking me questions about myself. And at the end of the dream, she invites me, or she asks me if I want to come over her house and spend the night. And she specifically said, do you want to have a sleepover? Right? And some of these words are going to be important because a lot of these words in here became key words. And it sent me to go into the etymology of words like sleepover and a few other ones, Sherpa. The coat that she was wearing in the dream was the white coat, and the fabric of the coat was Sherpa. So Sherpa is important because of the etymology of Sherpa. And so at the end of our dinner conversation, she invites me to come over to her house, and she asked me if I want to have a sleepover. And so we had such a great conversation, you know. And I was just like, sure. And so as I'm talking to her, she says that her name is Shirley Chisholm, right? And if I'm being honest, guys, I mean, I've heard Shirley Chisholm's name, I don't recall hearing her name as much until Kamala Harris started running for VP. And so I didn't really have a real idea of who she was. And so I didn't know much about her, and that's just me being honest. So in the dream, her name was Shirley Chisholm. And so we got up and we finished our dinner, and she put her coat on, and she was very beautiful. And she felt very rich to me in spirit, and very well off to me in spirit, or the energy of her. And so as we're leaving, once we're done dinner, we're leaving, and we pass by the dinner table that I told you guys in the beginning that some of my family members were sitting at. And we walked past, when we were leaving, we bypassed them again at dinner. And so I say to my godmother, her name is Nicole, she was in the dream. I say to my godmother, I'm going to have a sleepover with Shirley Chisholm. I'm going to her house. And mind you guys, the woman that's appearing in the dream is Ann Hesh, which is Ellen's first girlfriend. And so my godmother says, dang, you manifested her. You did it again? And so I'm looking at her and I'm like, I did what again? And she says, you manifested her again? or you manifest it again, right? And then I wake up from the dream. And so when I wake up, I say to Akila, which y'all know is Mrs. Holland, I say to Akila, I met Shirley Chisholm in my dream. Like immediately when I wake up, I say I met Shirley Chisholm in my dream. And she says, okay. I said, but she's Ellen's ex-girlfriend, her first girlfriend. And so I didn't know her name. And so anyway, I went immediately into search of Ellen's first girlfriend, and I learned that her name was Ann Hesh. And so I was like, when I woke up, I said, I met Shirley Chisholm, but it was weird, but she was a white woman. And this is what I said to Akila. And I went on to explain who she was, which was Ellen's first girlfriend, Ann Hesh. And so she says, she starts laughing and she says, but Shirley Chisholm is not a white woman. And I said, I know. And so we go into, research, and then Spirit starts to, so we finish talking, and then, Spirit starts to deal with me now with this dream. And I go into researching now this dream and decoding this dream. And so in this dream, it sent me deep into studying and learning about who Shirley Chisholm was, and what she did and who she was in America, what her politics were, and all that good stuff. And she, she made history by becoming the first black woman ever elected into Congress, among other things. But she was an educator. In 1968, she became the first black woman elected to the United States Congress, representing New York's 12th congressional district for 7 terms from 1969 to 1983. In 1972, United States election, she became the first African American candidate for a major party nomination for President of the United States, and the first woman to run for the Democratic Party presidential nomination. Okay? She was born in Brooklyn, but her roots are in Barbados. Okay? And a lot of her politics or interest in politics came from her father. Okay? He was into politics and all that good stuff. But you couldn't really find much information on her parents. And so, you have what you find on her are the traditional information that you would find if you go to Wikipedia and all that. But if you guys go to YouTube, you can find videos during that time of her, on the election trail, and then speeches of when she won, and, then her time when she transitioned from politics and started teaching and doing, speeches and speaking all over the world and all that good stuff. So she was, how do you say, she was the ideal figure for, what America would deem as, a good boy, and that's taking nothing from her and not being disrespectful in any way. And that's to say that she played by the rules, and she played very well. And for that, you saw her able to really operate in what she was called to do on this planet. That's taking nothing away from what she did and all that she accomplished here on this planet. She was in her role. She was in her calling. She really believed in doing the work of her people, really wanting to make a difference and wanting to provide equality for her people, and among all people, really, the uniting of all people, but she really wanted to make a difference for her people. And so she did what she had to do. And so that's just from researching her and all that good stuff. And if you guys, I encourage you guys to go out there and to research her, and to find more history on her and to read the history that's on her. But then I also encourage you guys to sit with her in your spirit and during your meditations and to speak with her, because she was really at the beginning, of a lot of the equal rights, that we feel that we've had being United States citizens, especially us melanated people. She was really at the forefront of a lot of these laws that were put into place, and some of the laws they gave her. But if I'm being very honest, as I sat and I spoke with Shirley Chisholm in spirit, they kept her busy. And I got a chance to really look at these videos of her in a different way, where it really put me in tune with what the people around her said about her or were saying about her, and how they kept her busy. They just kept her busy, and really unaware, while at the same time making, allowing her to believe that she made a difference and that she was making a difference. And so I have my notes here, guys, because there's words I was telling you guys about that came up in the dream and that were key points. My sister Sha is on here, and I was sharing this dream already with her and my wife. And so Sha, if I'm forgetting any parts, can you chime in? Because I've been all of this stuff is in my head. So one of the ways in which, because I was telling you guys that she presented as a white woman in my dream. And as I started going into study and decoding this dream, her presenting as another race, to me, spoke to her cloaking, right? And us, 111, us as melanated beings having the ability to cloak, not only here in the physical, but also in the spirit. Being able to be whatever we desire to be, being able to transform our energy into whatever we desire to be, being able to, her even seeing the power of her being able to still try and to transmute whatever negative energy that she has been holding on to, even in spirit. Even watching her being able to transmute this energy into something positive. You understand what I'm saying? And so some of the words were very key in this dream. And she validated herself in a lot of ways, also going into the message of we got it wrong. And so one of the ways that Shirley Chisholm validated herself, because she did come in as a different nationality. The reason why she came in that way was to show us the ability of our cloaking, of us being able to cloak ourselves, not only here in the physical, but also in the spirit, okay? And one of the ways in which she validated herself to be Shirley Chisholm was coming in wearing a Sherpa coat, okay? And Sherpa spirit sent me to the etymology to start to look up these words, to start to look up keywords that I saw in the dream. And so one of the words was Sherpa. And when you go and you look up the definition of Sherpa, you're going to find one definition where it talks about the people, the Himalayan people, and where they are and the types of people, that they were. But then if you go down a little further, you're going to then see the definition reading, a civil servant or diplomat who undertakes preparatory work prior to a summit conference. So there you already see her validating herself as being someone who was working as a civil servant. And, you know, a civil servant is just someone who works in politics in some way, shape, or form. And one who, you know, gathers the information and all that good stuff when they be having all these fake ass conferences and meetings and all that stuff. But if any of you guys would like the definition of civil servant, it is a public servant or a member of the civil service. Okay, so her wearing the Sherpa coat validated for me that this was Shirley Chisholm that I was talking to, because like we said, you know, like I said earlier, she was the first black woman ever elected into, you know, Congress. And so the dream went on. I have my notes here, guys, and I want to make sure that I'm following my notes and all that good stuff. In the dream, Shirley Chisholm, you know, once I started decoding, she took me to this article that about Kamala. And in reading the article, I got to a particular part of the article, and it started to speak about the guy started speaking about how Kamala Harris invoked the energy of Shirley Chisholm during her run for VP with Biden. The energy of her was very, very heavy during that time, right? Because if you look at it, Biden is essentially making history, you know, by having, you know, this racially ambiguous black woman, you know, next to him, representing, you know, us melanated beings as a collective, which is, you know, not true. And so Shirley started to show me the connections between her run in her presidency and Kamala's run in her run for presidency. And they were almost parallel. And once Shirley started taking me through that aspect of the dream, Spirit started to then take me back to the sleepover word, right? Having a sleepover. And so when I went to the etymology of sleep, keeping in mind Kamala, when I went to the etymology of sleep, it reads, it's Old English, to be or to fall asleep, to be dormant or inactive, past tense, to be weak, sleep, which is perhaps connected to pi root slag or stack. Okay, that's the etymology of sleep. Also, when you go down, if you keep going down to the etymology of sleep, you'll start to see other definitions. Other ones were to put an animal to sleep, to kill painlessly, sleepwalker, and one's sleep. Okay, the etymology of over is above or beyond, in a place or position higher than, and cross past tense over and above. Okay, the past, done, finished, through the whole extent from beginning to end. So Spirit has me, and Shirley has me, moving through the etymology of this dream of certain words. And it will take a while for me to literally sit here and go through all of the bits and pieces of the information and the rabbit hole that I was essentially in. It would take forever to go through everything. But the root message that Shirley came to bring was to say that we got it wrong. and that the energy of her, the essence of her, has been invoked to deceive the people again, to loop the people again. You know, the message of atonement and of saying, you know, that she was sorry, you know, asking for forgiveness and saying that she didn't know. She kept saying the phrase, "I'm not an agent. I'm not," and I thought that that was very, very interesting. She kept saying that I'm not an agent. I'm not an agent. And as I began to break down what she was speaking about and what she was saying, she was really coming from the heart and saying that my heart was in the right place. My intentions were in the right place. You know, and talking to my sister Shah and my wife Akila, we began to really talk about the choices that our ancestors, some of our ancestors, had to make during that time, either by choice or by sheer surrender, and having hope that things were going to improve and that things were going to, you know, get better. Our ancestors really had no idea in the ways that they were being used. They had no idea the insidiousness that we had integrated into. You know, some of us are aware. Today, some of us are even aware. And we still choose to integrate into something that is actively killing us. And in this research and in speaking with Shirley, she began to say that it's all going to fall away. That destruction was coming to this planet. Her energy is dissipating. That's why I had to come on today and to share this message. And there was an urgency to share this message because by tomorrow her energy would have dissipated. But the essence of her is bringing sheer destruction to this planet, because she realizes that where she was, what she didn't know, she can't control what she didn't know. But there's an atonement for her actions and an asking of forgiveness for her choices and for the laws that she was unaware that she was passing or even helping to pass. And during her time before she expired off this planet, she didn't come into the understanding of what she was in. And it wasn't until her transition and her expiration off of this planet, she said that she went to the mountaintop and she's looking down and she can see the error of her ways. And she said that many of our people, those who even claim themselves to be activists, are actively deceiving the people. That they are actively deceiving the people. And that they are aware. And there are also many of these activists whose intentions and hearts were also in the right places. But Shirley Chisholm was saying that she didn't know. That she didn't know. And that when she went to that mountaintop and she's looking back in the spirit realm, she sees the error of her ways. And she came asking for atonement. And she was at the beginning of this. So for Shirley Chisholm to come now and to deliver the message that she didn't know, and she said many of our people on this planet, many of our elders, do not want to say that they've got it wrong. Wise, I would really love your viewpoint on this, because you are one of the most accurate teachers that are walking this planet right now. And the energy or the spirit of Shirley Chisholm came to me in a dream yesterday to deliver the message that they are invoking her energy and Kamala. That they are invoking her energy to play out what we see happening on this planet. And she came saying that she didn't know how she was being used and what she was a part of then. She didn't know. She really thought that she was doing right by and for our people. Shirley Chisholm, she was the first black woman elected into Congress. Shirley Chisholm, she was the first black woman elected into Congress, and she was a Sagittarius. Her birthday is November the 30th. I can't remember the year. And she died January the 1st, 2005. And so Shirley went on to say and to explain that many of the activists and many of our people and many of other people with different nationalities, but mainly our people are that are aware, do not want to say that they got it wrong. And Shirley came back to say that we got it wrong. She said that the people on the planet won't say it. And so the ancestors have to come to this realm to say that they got it wrong and that we fucked up. She came to say that destruction was going to hit this planet. She came to make an atonement for her actions and for her decisions during that time. You know, and she came, you know, almost in a plea to the people to wake up and to look around you, to come out of the spell, to look around you, to come out of the spell, and to see that you have been deceived. I didn't know nothing about Shirley Chisholm. I'm being honest with y'all. I didn't know nothing about her. So for her energy to come through at this time, when she was at the beginning of this, now we are watching the fall of this regime. And she came to say that we got it wrong. And that my people need to see what is happening around them. That there is no more time. This message, she urged me to go to get on here and to give this message today. She said because by tomorrow her energy will have dissipated. But I want y'all to know that she's saying that they are invoking her energy to carry out these plans on this earth. Mainly in the energy of Kamala. She's not the only one. But Kamala, their runs politically are parallel. The message of forgiveness was very strong in the channeling of this message. And the message for this planet to wake up. To wake up. I'm telling you, Wise. I'm telling you. I've never, ever dreamt about this woman. And Wise, in the dream, she presented as a white woman. She presented as a white woman. In the dream, she was Ellen's first girlfriend. Ann Hesh was her name. She presented as Ann Hesh in the dream, but she said that her name was Shirley Chisholm. And she was very specific about that her name was Shirley Chisholm. And even as I was coming out of the dream, I literally am saying to Akila, I met Shirley Chisholm in my dream. Yeah, Sha, you did. You said that segment was here to balance. But the wrath and the destruction, that's what Shirley Chisholm said. When her presence leaves from around me tomorrow, the essence of her destruction is what will be left. Because we got it wrong. And that's what she kept saying. And she kept saying, as I was, go in research and etymology, I was all over the place. And she kept saying, I'm not an agent. I'm not an agent. That's what she kept saying. I'm not an agent. And she just kept saying that. And so that allowed and validated for me that her intentions were not that of what she was working under. She was almost like a calendar boy or a calendar woman. She was the perfect image of an obedient black person in America. And that's no disrespect because she understands that. She sees that now. And she's saying that you are blind, that you're being blindsided. And if any of you are aware, Kamala Harris just released a statement saying that she was blindsided by the cover that was chosen for Vogue's magazine. We are being blindsided. And the ancestors are coming through to say that we are being blindsided. Because the people that are in your face won't say it. So the ancestors have to come through and say, we fucked up. Exactly. The lion-headed woman. Exactly. And she was a Sagittarius. So she was about truth. And when you go and study in Shirley Chisholm, the only thing that she cared about was the truth. And now she said, I know the truth. She said, I know the truth. And that is in our faces, and we can't see it. And the song that I played in the video before, that was the message from her heart and from her spirit, that she forgives these people for what they've done to her, for how they used her energy. She said, I went to the mountaintop. She said, I went to the mountaintop and I look down and I see the error of my ways and I forgive you. She said that I release all energy. To me, that is the message of transmuting, even in the spirit, transmuting the energy that she became aware of, where she is. And now, even from spirit, even from gas, she's still trying to do right by her people by saying, we fucked up. We got it wrong. And she said, I was at the beginning of this. And now I am the destruction of this. So when you see the destruction around you, when you see the collapse around you, understand that that is the essence of Shirley Chisholm. That is the divine feminine destruction that has to eradicate everything. But you know why you don't have to worry? Because Noble Drew Ali said that when destruction hits, he said that I'm going to leave a few fine buildings for my Moors to enjoy. That tells you that there's the other side, that we're going to get to the other side of this. And transmuting those feelings of rage and of anger, of sadness, right? Of watching the world around you shatter, of watching your individual worlds shatter. 9 people in the room watching the completion of this cycle. 7 has been very, very present in the study of Shirley Chisholm. She ran for 7 terms. We are at the completion of this thing. And the ancestors that were at the beginning are coming back to rectify and to make atonement And so if the spirit is making atonement, what do you think the physical has to make? An atonement for what you didn't know, for what you ignored, for what you allowed, for what you partook in, for what you continue to partake in. Because we're afraid for our worlds to shatter. And Shirley Chisholm's spirit came through to say, let it break. Because I am concerned about truth. I was at the beginning and I am at the end. And so, I don't want to preach to y'all or anything. But I want y'all to know that the message of releasing everything around you is so prevalent right now. It's so prevalent. And I'm not an astrologer or any of that stuff, so I can't go into the astrological energy of what all of this means. I can only fix myself on spirit and intuition, because that is how I exist in spirit. That is how I understand the world around me. Right? That's how I understand it. And so I don't understand I don't know the astrological energies that would describe this experience. But what I know is that the spirit of Shirley Chisholm came to me to tell me that she didn't know. And that the energy and the essence of her has been evoked to carry out the things that are happening on this planet. And that once her energy from around me leaves, the essence of her destruction will remain. It's done. It's done. And that's the message. The message is to let it go and to let it fall. Beautiful scripture, Shai. Luke 23:34. I encourage y'all to go look that up. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. They didn't know. Some of them knew that they were battling real gods. They didn't understand it. And for that, we forgive them. Not you forget. Not you don't take action on that which you know. Forgive them. And transmute that energy into love. Because that's the thing that's going to take us over. That's the thing that's going to take us through. Gathering closer to each other. Talking to each other. Finding your tribes. Turning off your televisions. And getting with the people around you. Because the people that you are watching on this television they are deceiving you. Shirley Chisholm came to bring the message of deception. It's removed. And she said, you're going to see the essence of her destruction. And I believe her. I believe her. Her energy has been with me. Her spirit has been with me since yesterday. And so, I encourage you guys to let it go. To let it go. To let this system go. To let this regime go. And to forgive our ancestors. To forgive our ancestors. Because many of their hearts were in the right place. But with no real understanding or knowledge of self, you will foolishly aim this world and make and operate in all types of decisions. And many of our ancestors acted without knowledge of self. It removed our compass. And now we're finding our compass. Many of us already have them. Wise royalty is one of them. She has her compass and she is guiding her people. I know the ancestors are walking this planet because of the people that I see around me that inspire me. My sister Shalom, she has the compass. Many of us have the compass. But we don't want to let go of the maps that we've been given. We don't want to let go of the maps that we've been given to trust our own compass. And we have to trust our own compass in this season. And the message of Shirley Chisholm is to let it go. To let it go. And I give thanks to her energy. I give thanks to her presence. And I give thanks to her energy for trusting me enough to deliver it. Kamala Harris will not succeed in her energy. She will not succeed in her energy. So I thank y'all for joining me. I hope that this message finds you wherever you are. I hope that this message finds you in love. I hope that this message charges you to get in order, to get your affairs in order, to get your minds in order, and to get your protection in order. And if you are unaware or unsure of how to do that, reach out to Wise Royalty. I keep saying her name because she has real life solutions and resources. The currency code is 1, and she's helping us to get into alignment with ourselves and with the elements, aligning the elements within us, helping you to align the elements outside of you. My sister Shalom Gaia has the Cosmic Academy where she is teaching you shadow work and the importance of shadow work and how to do it on your own. And as always, you guys know that you have the resources of Holland Spices, the Herbal Sanctuary, where we are helping you to get your spiritual nature in order, but also your bodies and your minds in order. And we all have a part in this. We all play a part in this. We see what's happening around us, and now it's time for solutions. Guard yourselves and prepare yourselves for the destruction. And know that you will not be touched if you are elevating. So I love y'all, and I thank y'all for joining me. And, you know, before you guys take it down tonight and as we transition into this new moon tomorrow, say the name of Shirley Chisholm and thank her for this message. Say her name to transmute her energy from how they are using it willfully and ignorantly. She's made atonement for her actions tonight. She's made an atonement and she's asked for forgiveness tonight. And so, I love y'all. And I hope y'all have a beautiful night. And I hope that this message continues to grow you and that it continues to inspire you. And so, we love y'all. Ashe. Good night, y'all.